about the SmackDown breakdown before we get transition into our next topic.
Okay.
Sarah, who is the better creative team, WWE
I
or AEW? And
I
you're
can't really speak to that because I don't watch
yeah,
AEW enough. But
but
I know that in AEW that they do have a lot more control over their own like character development and storylines and stuff like that than necessarily WWE. But the problem that I say is like we don't know all of the ins and outs of what's going on in WWE with Triple H taking over, because I think if I were to talk about, the WWE creative right now, my mind automatically reverts back to how things were with Vince, and it was like, okay, Vince was just like, this is what you're doing, this is what you're gonna say, this is how you're gonna win, this is how you're gonna lose, that like you didn't have any say in it at all. And I don't believe that's how things are with Triple H, but we don't know because it hasn't been that long and we haven't heard anybody come out speaking against what he's saying. We had years and years and years of wrestlers that left WWE to talk about the inner workings of the creative team and the things they didn't like and what Vince said to them. But I feel like I don't know if there's necessarily one that's better than the other. I think it just depends on like what you enjoy, what wrestlers you enjoy, and what you're interested in. Um, yeah, I don't know. And like I said, I'm not a AEW watcher, so it's hard for me to speak from that type of direction, if that makes any sense.
well, Sarah, the champ could talk about that because I do watch both shows, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes, depending on the day, I may lean towards AEW for which show I prefer. When it comes to their creative teams, it's a little different because is kind of what you alluded to. It's not what you're going to say, it's all right, this is what you're doing and this is how you have to go about it. Where in AEW, because the EVPs and a lot of the higher up people are wrestlers,
Mm-hmm.
who perform, I would say, if not, weekly, but at least monthly. Um, they have a lot of power, and when they were, you know, moving up or growing up in the business, it was independent. They had to come up with their own lines, and they had to, have it essentially written down, but at least with their whoever they were opposing that night. So that's the way AEW, I would say, runs more, whereas WWE, it's a lot more intricate because they want to do a lot more when it comes to like long term storytelling and the ins and outs, and it's more of a show, like an actual entertainment show rather than a wrestling event. So, all right,
Agreed.
what's the next thing